This tutorial is to make a headband on a 40-pin Sentro. All you need is a 40-pin circular knitting machine, scissors, a darning needle, and a 5.5mm hook, the yarn of your choice, and some scrap yarn. This amount of scrap yarn that I use that you're going to cast on with first with your machine, and you're going to use it to cast off as well. Do 90 rows with your knitting machine of the color of your choice. Then I'm going to show you how I close the tubes and how I sew the two ends together to make it this cute headband. So get casting on and knitting, and I'll show you how to do the headband next. Grab your tube, find the first stitch, which is where you have your yarn that you cast on and cast off with, and you're going to count back 20 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And into that 20th stitch, grab your crochet hook. I'm using a 5.5mm hook. Put your hook in from the outside inwards. Reach up to the next stitch from the inside to the outside and pull that loop through the loop on your hook. I like to rotate my tube so it's angled kind of like this, and then go into the next stitch from the inside to the outside and put it through the loop on your hook, and go into the next stitch above it and pull it through, and continue this manner of alternating between the top and the bottom loops and pulling it from the inside to the outside with your hook into the loop on your hook. You do that all the way to the end to close your tube. And then take your yarn end, pull it through the loop as your last one. And now you can unravel your waste yarn. Just find the top piece right here and start taking it out from the top loops, gently pulling on it to get it off those top loops, and then you'll be able to pull it off easily once it's out of these initial loops. Okay, now you should be able to pull it off easily without much trouble. Just pull on the yarn end, try not to get it tangled or else it'll give you a headache, and it should just come right off. Now check to see if you skipped any stitches, and if you did, you just take your darning needle and pull it through the stitch that you might have skipped on accident. Pull on it a little, you'll see if it starts to unravel, that means you skipped a stitch. Grab your darning needle, a length of yarn that's about 2 times the width of your headband, and thread your darning needle with your yarn. I like to just fold it in half here so that it's easier to push through the eye of the needle. Now take your headband, fold one end in half, and the other end you're also going to fold in half, and you're going to place one end inside the other and the other end inside the other middle. Line up your stitches as best as you can. You're going to use your darning needle and go through and seal up the end here. So I just like to try to grab all these last stitches here as best possible. Pull it through, and I use the tail end here to tie the ends together, not the ends together, so I don't lose your yarn here. Let's just tighten in a knot. The side facing you is the inside of the headband, because at the end of this you'll turn it inside out. And then I'll go back through the stitches like that, back through, continue doing that. I try to go every single stitch as best as possible, if you can catch them, all the way to the end here. It's important that you try to catch especially the middle stitches so that they don't fall through or aren't sealed or stitched together. At the end here, make sure you're grabbing all the inside stitches too, and then pull it through and tie it to your last yarn end. Knot it up, and then what I'm going to do is draw the yarn back through the other end to just really extra secure it. So I'm going to thread my needle again and go around to this end to tie it to this end here. And you don't have to do it, that's just an extra step I like to do for security, to make sure that it's really in there and not skipping any stitches. This one I just kind of haphazardly thread it through to the other end using those top stitches. And then I'll tie it to this piece to secure it. And then I'll weave in the ends a bit and cut them. So to weave it in, I'll grab both ends here since they're both kind of long. I'll just kind of go through a couple of stitches back and forth. Now this is the inside of your hat, as a reminder. Your headband, I mean. Sorry, so you go ahead and flip it inside out, and then you have your headband. Again, this is on the 40 pin. It's 90 total stitches. It should stretch to fit your head, but it could also be good for a toddler's head if you prefer having a wider hat. Then you'd want to use the 48 machine and do the exact same thing, except it'd be wider because the 48 has more pins, which makes it a wider headband.